I really want to thank everybody for coming, for joining, and I look forward to it being an amazing, amazing session. And like me, I've said, I have it in my mind. It is conversation, guys. Even you, we can call anybody to answer any question. If we don't want to answer a question, anybody will answer. Anybody will talk. Like it is not just going to be limited to us. Please, we don't even have. Maybe we have an edge to an extent, or we are just like everybody else here. We're trying to navigate life, we're trying to navigate adulting, and what is helping us do better is because we are doing it together. So I look forward to the insights, to drawing from the well of wisdom that every one of us here have. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for paying your time, your attention, because those are currencies of life, and you're paying it here. So we really appreciate, and I do not take this for granted. Thank you so much.
And that is exactly how founders speak. I don't know about you, but that is exactly how founders speak. We are going to move on quickly to our very, very first speaker for tonight. Please, if your hands are not too busy, drop those fire emojis, the clapping emojis, because tonight is going to be the most honest and raw conversation that you have had in a very, very long time. Okay? All right. Thank you very much. So moving on quickly, Dr. Annette Yakubu, we are going to start strongly with you, ma'am. All right, so Dr. Annette, we all know, or that's for those who were here when your profile was read. And for those who weren't here, Dr. Annette is a medical student currently, and she's also a brand owner. So I'm going to ask the most obvious question, yeah? What's life like building a personal brand combined with being a medical student?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening once more. Thank you so much, Clarissa. Once again, I want to say thank you to the Global Angie and the team for putting this together, and also to be part of the panelists today, seeing the great people who are also here as panelists, and it's such an honor and a privilege to be here. And I think one thing that comes to mind is I'm someone that believes in living life and understanding that, life is not short, life is beautiful, and you have the choice to express the realities that God has given inside of you. So I think one thing that strikes the heart in all of this is a position. I say it's either you're walking through passion or priority. And a walk through passion at the moment could be that you're probably in a season where you have to maybe sell something, but you also have a passion to sleep at the moment, but in the course of things, during when you're trying to put a scale of preference in passion and priority, you realize that even if I have to sleep and there's a fight between the things I have to do, I have to now collectively walk in wisdom. So the first thing that hits, like I said, is understanding where to focus on when there is a pull between passion and priority. And in most cases, priority should be the key thing, right? And the Bible would say, I'm a believer. I would always say I'm unapologetically a Jesus addict. And we see in the book of James, while there's an introduction, it says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So having to track through medical school and having to have a brand, I think one of the things I experience is, where do I place focus? How? I think there's much more people who said that. How do I position my focus in whatever it is that I'm doing at the moment. And priority is time based. Priority is time based. So I tell people that for me, there is a need to prioritize, especially when I have exams, right? So within those seasons, for me, it's more like everything else has to shut down. Probably I have like a structure for, let's say, 2 weeks before my exams. It's like I'm off. It's either I have schedules that takes care of that and all of that. So I think a major thing is understanding first, like I said, the fight between passion and priority. What is the fight for you? If you're in a space where your passion and priority is not fighting, beautiful. But if there's a fight, identify what it is. Then realize which do you position for passion and which do you position as priority based on time. For example, we're talking now, for some of us, once it's 9, 10, we have to go to sleep because that's the priority for some of us. For some other people, that's the moment when the day's work begins. So your ability to work with time and putting a scale of priority helps you to come forward like you have everything figured out. So I think in the journey of it all, once there is a fight between medical school and doing the things I do as the brand, as a person, or working with other brands, I think priority with time is what has helped by God's wisdom also. So I think that would be it.
I feel like there are three things that are so key in what she said. I hope we're with our notepads. I hope we're with our jotters. And I hope we are listening keenly and attentively. Thank you very much, Miss Angela. Okay, so she mentioned priority and passion. Those are two key things she mentioned. Now, the fact that she's a medical student happens to be her priority, right? And the passion is her brand, personal, and that she does, that's what she does with others, right? But she's able to prioritize which comes first, and the ability to be very, very, very time conscious, managing her time efficiently, has to top it all. So please, I hope we're getting this, because I know that there are lots of us who are juggling so many things at the same time, and sometimes it can be a whole lot. But if someone who is in medical school and still building her brand can comfortably and confidently tell us that you need to prioritize, or you need to separate your priorities from your passion, I think that is a strong take home that we need to ponder on, right? Sorry, I want to be sure that everyone can hear me. All right, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Dr. Annette. Thank you for that enlightening answer. So moving on quickly to Dr. Ifizino. Looking back at the first half of 2026, what has been your biggest hurdle, both personally and professionally, and how did it test your purpose and resilience?
Uh, Thank you very much. Okay, so one of the biggest or largest hurdle I faced in the first half of 2026 was actually having a lot of responsibilities. And to be honest, Dr. Annette has shed a lot of light on that. And when she was talking, I was just like, oh, amazing, because this is exactly it. So I was involved in a lot of different things. I mean, I just finished NYSC. So in NYSC, I had a lot of activities. I also happened to be the coordinator of something while also juggling my career and my passion, priority and passion, just like Dr. Adat said. So that was one of the main things I had to face, trying to balance everything, because I don't believe in because you have a lot of things on your plate, you then become mediocre. I believe that you can prioritize and still deliver with excellence. You don't have to compromise on your excellence. So to enable you do that, you have to just put things in order of, again, priority. You pick it out, face what you need to face at each time, and ensure that at that point you go ahead and achieve that goal as it is supposed to be achieved, because you want to ensure that you're delivering with excellence. The fact that you have a lot of your on your plate does not give you an excuse to be mediocre, like I said. So how did it test my resilience? There were a lot of times where I felt overwhelmed and overworked, and I felt like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Maybe I'm having two clashing events or two clashing meetings. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? Another thing I learned is delegating. Delegating. I used to want to do everything by myself. But over the years, but especially this year, I understood the importance of having the right people around you, and why it is important to surround yourself with men that you can trust, because those are the people that will help you and that will hold you up when you are overwhelmed, when you're feeling like, oh God, I can't do this by myself, I'm overworked, what do I do? Having those people around you that will speak the word to you, that share the vision you share, and are able to stand in your stead, because you can't be everywhere, you can't do everything by yourself. So you need to be able to trust that I give this responsibility over to this person, and I know just like I would execute it, this person would execute it on my behalf. So those are the few things that I think, especially concerning the resilience part, I think learning how to delegate was one of the biggest lessons I learned this year.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Ifizino. Thank you. She just emphasized on the gift of men. And like Miss Angela will always say, she is constantly grateful for the gift of men, which is very important. The gift of men that surrounds you, that when it comes to, delegating tasks, or, just the fact that you need someone to help you out with something, and you know just who to call on or who to ask, is very beautiful. Trust me. You, I believe we've all had a time in our lives, be it personally or professionally, when we're so overworked or overstimulated, and it's beginning to take a toll on us. But because we know that we have one or two persons who can talk to us, or who can help us, do what we need to do, it just makes the whole burden lighter. Yeah. So I'm going to move on very quickly to the very next person, the very next speaker, in the person of TGA. So, Miss Angela, for those who are not aware, I'm going to just say this again. You just finished your service here. And I mean, we all know what the Nigerian government decided to dish out to the coppers. We are grateful. We're really grateful. We're not complaining. We wish it continued, to be honest, but we're not complaining. We're grateful for the period they, did what they did. So, looking back at your own journey after service, what was the biggest shock or hurdle you encountered? Was there ever a point where your expectations didn't match your reality? And how exactly did you navigate that season without losing momentum or confidence?
Fully is I don't think I started a journey after NYC. I don't think I started any journey after NYC, because where I am currently, what I do currently is like an offshoot of the places I've been, the capacity I've built along the way, the the pains I've converted to purpose, and how I am currently working to become a more refined version of myself. So when it comes to shortcuts, when it comes to all those things, I would just say that it was as if opportunities were just waiting for me to finish. Like they were just waiting for me to go finish, like, so that they just bombard me. Like, bro, why? Why? Like, I'm not being ungrateful. I'm really, really grateful for the fact that, okay, that means you've actually been able to build to an extent. You've actually been able to grow to an extent where people want to pay you for your time, and they're not even just offering me just some money. They are offering something that is, I will not call it big because my mind is bigger than that. But I would just say that those came as, I think that was like a shocker experience. I'm not shocked, but it just came so fast. And the fact that I had to reject many of them, and in fact, I even still rejected one today. Like the fact that I had to reject just because I know that if I pick this up now, it will clash with what I am currently trying to do and achieve. So, like I said, I would not say I am starting any journey after NYSC. What I am doing currently is an offshoot of what I have been doing over time, what I have been doing, and the places I have been, the lessons I have been learning over time. So one thing I took the NYSC service year to be was like a simulation of what is. It's a simulation, and even the way you have job simulation, the NYC was a simulation of the real life. I didn't take it as a real life. And as much as possible, I tried to enjoy myself while at it. Even when there were times when obviously I should have just given up. I could say, take your paper, I don't want. Even at times when I should have done that, what I did rather was to learn from the pains. Okay, what am I supposed to learn from it? What am I building from this? Because by the grace of God, I was privileged to be the president of my CDS. And, I just took it as a training ground for me. I took it as something to polish my already existing skill. I took it upon myself to actually become better and refine. I took it upon myself to make it as an happy time. So when people were complaining of going for CDS and all those, I was happy to go to CDS. In fact, I even found it as an escape for me. It was like an escape because I just wanted to leave my already busy world. Like my head is busy, there's no time to rest. So that time is more like I am doing something I'm passionate about, helping other people to see the light, helping other people become better versions of themselves. And having to do this with people with grown adults. Nobody was a child, and you had to do things. You had to work with a team, and most of my team members were guys. I had two female my team members, and we were able to achieve quite a number of things within the short frame of time we had. We were able to do a lot of things, and our LGI was telling the people we handed over to that they have big shoes to fill, and that did not just come by accident. It took an intentional knowing, and because of the track record I was able to build at that time, what I'm currently experiencing, the rooms I'm entering currently, are an offshoot of it. So I would like to tell all of us that in everywhere we find ourselves, in every season we find ourselves, we need to sit back, we need to reflect. What exactly do I need to take from this season? What exactly do I need to learn? How do I get to enjoy this process? Because it is a process. Every single stages I've been like last year and early this year was like the most painful seasons of my life. But even as much as I will be pained, as much as I was feeling mentally exhausted, I still showed up. I showed up and I chose to show up whether or not I feel like it. And really, really, that's what consistency. I define consistency to be like that. So, like I would say, I didn't really experience any struggle apart from the fact that so many opportunities were there, and in a way, my hands were tied to even accept the opportunities. And while I did not even accept these opportunities, there were many other opportunities I brought to people within the community. That is why you should be in that kind of space anyway. So there are people that are currently benefiting from those opportunities I did not take. And I'm working to build systems that would even sustain this, that would that when people need these things, they're able to reach me and I'm able to give it to my community members, because what are we here for? Growth is more beautiful when it is done together. Thank you so much, Clarissa. Thank you so much, everybody.
Okay, please. Thank you very much, our amazing founder. Okay, so before I move on to our very next panelist for tonight, I have two questions to throw to our beautiful audience. Now, if you would love to volunteer, could you kindly raise your hand after I ask this question? So I'm going to take it up from the consistency Miss Angela Olua mentioned to throw my question to the audience. So what is harder for you? Is it starting something new or staying consistent after the excitement wears off? So just for clarity, this is it. This is the question in very plain terms. Yeah. What exactly is hard for you? Is it to start up something, be it a business, be it a venture, an initiative, or whatever the case may be, or the fact that when you actually start, there's always maybe some sort of excitement when you're starting something new. You're hoping for the best to come out of it, and sometimes, especially for business owners, they'll tell you that the first few months probably of a business is not always as productive in terms of cool cash as they thought it would be. It's not always maybe as productive as in terms of getting clients or networks, as the case may be. So, which is harder for you? Is it starting something new, or staying put, deciding that okay, you are still going to be on that journey, even when that initial excitement, that initial butterflies fade off? So, can we have a volunteer from our audience, or do I pick at random? Okay, so it seems like we are not going to have volunteers this night, but I hope not. So I'm going to ask um, Miss Tamara Divine. Miss Tamara Divine, if you could hear me, could you please unmute your mic to answer the question? Miss Tamara, if you're trying to speak, your mic is currently muted. Could you please unmute? Okay, it seems like Miss Tamara is currently unavailable. I'm going to move on to the very next person, Mr. Ezekiel Tumishi. Mr. Ezekiel Tumishi, can you hear me? And if you can, could you please
Yes, I can.
Okay,
I hope
thank
you
you.
can hear me. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yes, well, the question, for me, I would say is actually starting. Um, I I tend to be a consistent person, but the process to starting things out is usually in view of how I'll maintain the consistency. So many times I overthink starting anything because if I'm trying to achieve a goal, then I want to see how I'll get to it when the days of excitement wear off. So yeah, starting out is more difficult for me generally.
Okay, Mr. Ezekiel, thank you very much. So I guess we have 1% of the population, and for him, okay, if you feel like starting off is actually the problem for you, could you please drop an emoji if you feel like starting up something is actually a problem for you and not just staying consistent after the excitement wears off? Could you please just drop an emoji of any kind? Thank you very much. Okay. So to most people, they overthink, they second guess themselves. Can I do this? How do I do this? What would it look like if I'm doing this? So I'm going to move on to our very second question for the audience. And I think it still aligns with the consistency thing we're talking about. And this is for our social media people. So, how many people here are intentionally building a personal brand or creating content online? That's one. And for those who aren't, what is stopping you? Is it the fear of judgment? Is it the lack of clarity, or believing you have nothing valuable to share? For our creators, for our brand owners, you might own a business, but you obviously don't put yourself out there. You might have one or two things to say, but you don't do it, or you don't just do it at all. What could be the reason? Can I please get a volunteer to answer this, or should I call someone at random? All right, so it seems like we don't have a volunteer for this. So I'm just going to call someone at random. Mr. Ibidun Adeleke, could you please answer that? Okay, so I'm just going to put this out here. There's actually going to be a gift from TGC. Yeah, from TGC, from the Growth Circle. There's going to be a gift for those who willingly volunteer to answer questions from the audience. There's going to be a gift. So let's just have that at the back of our minds. So, Mr. Adilike, Timishe, I think you're going to be next, but all right. Mr. Ibidun Adilike, could you please answer? Okay, seems like Mr. Ibidun is currently unavailable. All right, so moving on, I'm going to call Tumininu Ajadi. If I mispronounce your name, I sincerely apologize. So, Tumininu, could you please answer that?
Sorry, can you come again with the question?
So, the question that I asked was in line with consistency, yeah? For those who are social media persons, creators, or probably you're not, how many people here are intentionally building a personal brand or creating or content online? And for those who aren't, that is if you fall under that category, what exactly is stopping you? Is it the fear of judgment? Is it the lack of clarity, or believing you have nothing valuable to share?
I feel like that question should be like given to people that are like into social media and all that stuff. I, for one, I don't really like being out there, like I'm saying on social media and stuff. Well, so it's not because of the fear of anything, it's just because I guess that's not who I am, or that's not what I would like to do. To get, I feel like sometimes if you like to do something, yeah, you are, there's a tendency that you might actually succeed in doing that thing. That's how I feel. Because I feel like if you just do things because people are doing it, or because you think you're funny, or because it might not really gel. So personally, to me, I'm not doing that because I don't think that's what I want
Yeah,
to
my
do.
mouth is on.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Timinu. Miss Tumi, I think that'll be better. Miss Tumi.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So thank you for that angle. I mean, I made mention of those who are actually creators that are not consistent, and for those who do not post online, and who probably might have one or two reasons why they do not. But I guess the fact that there are actually people who genuinely do not like the whole idea of social media still exists. So thank you very much for that amazing contribution. So moving on strongly, we have um Mr. Timmy Lane, our very next panelist for tonight. So there's this particular question I sincerely have to ask. I think this has to top my list of questions for Mr. Timmy Lane. And it goes this way, that what is one thing that's impossible to ignore is that he has had crazy amount of social media growth in the last few months. He has gone from relatively unknown to building an audience that actively engages with his content. He has experienced growth when it comes to the numbers. So I would like to ask that, okay, so there are many creators who believe that growth is either luck or the algorithm. So I would like you to pull back the curtain. What deliberate strategies did you execute that changed everything?
Hey, good evening. So to answer that question, we'll have to go 6 months into the past. That will put us at, like, let's say December. And me and Angie actually served in the same CDS. I was a financial secretary, right? And yeah, I've always had passion to, build stuff and try sort of put myself out there. And that also played out in my undergraduate years, leading GDSC. For those of us that don't know what GDSC acronym is, it's Google Developer Students Club. It's a kind of school club for creatives and tech experts, hobbies, everybody that have like some skill or the other, come together, build stuff, go for hackathons. And I led the robotics team, right? So fast forward to 2025, it just came as this the reason why I started social media because I should not lie, I can't even lie. I deleted Instagram, TikTok, X. I deleted all my social media, all my socials. That was late 2024. And all I had on my phone was just WhatsApp. Like if you wanted to reach out to me, you can just, message me on WhatsApp. But what changed everything was I was at work, right, one day and I think there's this quote, necessity is the mother of invention or something like you I just had to, put myself out there and WhatsApp status was not going to cut it. All the people that on my WhatsApp status are, probably relatives. I know I don't really network with people like that. So I decided to create a YouTube channel, right? And share what I do. And I can remember the first post I made. I'm still going to cringe any day I see that video. Like, I still cringe when I content. So I posted something and it didn't get the amount of engagement I wanted. The main reason why I started, this whole social media campaign was to sort of get clients and connect with people that are building in the same path as me. And I can't even lie, for the most part, it felt like I was beyond invisible, if there's any other word you can put there. I was basically talking to myself, if you can call it that. Probably felt like I was talking to my draft. But I think what changed everything, like the question you asked, is when I decided to, I did not dip it. I stopped dipping it. I just said, okay, you know, I might as well just continue posting. I was posting consistently for 4 months, like up to 5 months on my TikTok, on my YouTube, on my Instagram. I was posting consistently. And what I do majorly was, talking about technical stuff, using technical terms, even till I think of recently someone still commented on my post that okay, I'm using buzzwords and I can't hide the fact that I'm probably a nerd or I'm talking to like fellow nerds or trying to reach out to people that are also technical, not necessarily not going to, dumb something I'm going to say down or, sort of keen to the load or uprising, as you can call it that. So the break came when I decided to just, show people what I can actually do. I worked on a project for a client and I did the behind the scene, the BTS. I did a voiceover, talked about how I delivered it to him in Lagos. Basically, what I think changed everything was when I actually showed people that I could actually offer value. And you'd find out on social media today, the only way you get engagements is if you, dance on TikTok or say something stupid or just, brain rots, basically. The algorithm thrives on brain rots, people doing stuff that originally you're supposed to question their level of intelligence, but we find out that people, Nigerians majorly, or probably let's say Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they promote the average Nigerian, the average celebrity or the average internet personality is the reflection of the thought process of the average Nigerian, in the sense that it's the Nigerians that are responsible for those people uprising or something. So yeah, all of the uprising, yes. So that's the term that was coined recently. So what changed it for me, what cut it for me was me actually showing that I could actually offer something of value and people saw that and followed my content and they engaged with my content and I have like an active community that relates to what I do. That is in the tech space. So that's basically what cut it for me. Consistency basically. Even in the face of not getting the engagement that like I wanted, I continued for 5 months. Even the post I made that gave me the amount of followers, the largest following I've gotten, I I almost did not actually make that post because I it was just like another every other evening. I was like, oh, should I even post this? It was the day before my POP. Our POP was on a Thursday. It was Wednesday evening. I just got back stressed out from work because I work in 9 to 5 as a software engineer. And I was just, okay, let me just post this and just, brush it up one place. It's just going to be like the other contents I've been doing. Why is it going to be any different? And I posted it, and to my amazement or to my surprise, I woke up the next morning with the shock of my life, basically. So I would just say consistency and, putting something of value out there.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Timiling. Thank you. Okay, so I think he is the second panelist for tonight who has been hitting on this consistency thing. Just keep showing up, just keep doing it. But he also added something, not just being consistent, but being consistent and dishing out value. You can be consistent with anything or that you want to do, but that thing which you're being consistent at, does it in any way add value to the viewers or your audience or your target audience? So thank you very much. Because tell me how someone moves from less than 1,000 followers, if I'm not mistaken, to about 10,000 plus followers in the space of 6 months. It's amazing. Truly, consistency does pay off. Okay, so I'm just going to ask a follow-up question, Mr. Timilane, because I think I'd actually want to ask you quite a number of questions before you run along and leave us here in this space. So the very next question I have here, okay, has to do with the fact that you've experienced growth, not just in followers, but in influence, in opportunities, and also in leadership. You were the head of your robotic team back in school. The flexibility you've gained online has created rooms for you to step into. And then there are also people who often pray for visibility, who pray for promotions, bigger clients, and larger platforms. But there are so many of them who aren't prepared for what comes with them. You know, like what habits, what systems, and what mindset shifts have helped you sustain growth instead of becoming overwhelmed by it?
Okay, to answer that question, right, working a corporate job or, doing something besides, let's just say juggling two or more stuffs is going to require like some level of discipline in the sense that you don't want to reduce your efficiency in one and put all your eggs inside one basket. Then it makes you seem as though you're not efficient in what you're supposed to be efficient in. Right. When I started posting, I can't even lie. I tried to balance it with my 9 to 5 because I still work in 9 to 5. I still have work tomorrow morning. But what helped me was I batch created, right? I can't be shooting videos every single day when I just started. So I made up to I write my scripts, then I would, check online what the people talking about. Okay, what's the next buzzing stuff in tech? Then I search in it, like, write my scripts down, um, make up to 3 or 4 videos, then, be posting them one after the other. Even though they did not do well, like I was averaging what, like 50 views and a like, which is probably me and my cousins and my friends. But I continued regardless. Kept on posting, batch creating, and at some point it became so overwhelming. I was like, oh no, what is this? Like, I'm posting this thing and I'm even resharing on my status, like, and I'm not seeing the engagement like I want to. Even like I'm not even getting any clients or people that would contract with me to build stuff for them. But it's just knowing how to balance the two of them properly. And even till today, I still the time I have off work is basically weekends. I work a very, very, very busy job schedule. So I don't really have much time out of work. So the little time, the little space I've got, that's what I used to, edit. I edit basically on my phone. I had to take up editing. Like I'm not so good at editing, but I edit myself. I go get B-rolls. I do all of those stuff. Like I think it has been a very medicative journey, like in the sense that it's like a kind of project-based learning approach. As I'm learning, I'm applying what I'm learning on the go. Okay, how do I actually edit my video? I can remember my first video, I did not edit it myself. I outsourced it to my friend, and right? He did it on his computer, and I posted it, and I don't know that I realized that I can't actually keep on giving him my videos to keep on editing because he has his own life to live and I can't keep stressing him with my own requests. So I had to pick up editing on my own. Cause even the bit I can do, I started doing that, and even with lighting, I had to like do what I had to use what I had to set up. I don't have like a very very good lighting. I'm still working on that, but I it's not an excuse that you don't have enough resources. You just pick up what you have and go for it.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Timilane. I am going to quickly bombard you with the very last question before you leave us, yes, because I know you're leaving us soon. So I think it's best I just ask you all the questions or not all, but most of the questions I want to ask you before you go off. So the very last one has to do with the fact that you are obviously in the tech space, yeah? So, as someone building AI powered solutions yourself, should young professionals be worried or should they see this as the greatest opportunity of our generation? And then, what skills do you believe will remain valuable regardless of how advanced AI becomes?
Okay, just to add a little bit of what's the pronunciation? The H factor. Um, for those of us that watched Hollywood growing up, you'd probably think of Terminator or think of the end of the world, doomsday, sentient alien and AI beings and coming over to take our jobs and you know taking over humanity. But that's not that's not the case, at least for now. I want to believe that that's not the case with the the right oversights on the sides of the government and the tech companies themselves are shipping this product. For the people that are actually worry that, oh, will my job be taken, are the people that actually don't know how to apply artificial intelligence into their workflow. And I can tell you for a fact that artificial intelligence has come and it's here to stay because it's has become, should I call it, has become another very intricate part of our lives, whether I like it or not, since its inception in 2022, since the first chatbot that was released by ChatGPT. There are jobs, right, that are I don't want to say categorically they are at risk. There are some jobs that can be automated because if you're following the tech AI news, you'd realize that every other day, Anthropic, the parent company, Anthropic every other day comes up with a new update, basically trying to let you know that okay, you as I don't want to mention any career path because I respect everybody on the call. So you can do a research, but there are basically different job roles that it seems as though it's going to be replaced. So now what would you now do as a professional that is looking to not be replaced by artificial intelligence? It's to actually integrate it into your workflow. So now as a graphics designer, I'm not a big fan of AI graphics flyer. They should stop that stuff. Like it's so if you stop that stuff, you would know that this thing, what's this AI slop? But like that's for the you can't remember when we saw the video of Will Smith eating spaghetti in like 2022. Everyone was like, stop that stuff. But like now you can't actually differentiate what an AI generated video is from one of the best engines that you see. But like just give it time, it's going to get better. But the point is there are different career paths. Like as a software engineer, probably in the 2010s, as a software engineer, they would expect you to write every single line of code yourself, and you'd be in the front of your computer debugging. You go to Stack Overflow, which is some sort of community for tech developers. Oh, sorry, I don't want to like it's sort of like a community for tech developers. You go there, it's like a kind of community. You drop your error code or your bugs. Then people would actually, some people that are pros would insult you. What do you mean you don't know 2 plus 2 is 4? That kind of stuff. And you get insulted. But come 2022, ChatGPT came, and with a click of your keyboard, your enter key, you can literally just press what is happening in line. So and so find the bug, and it refactors your code. It does all of this. So that in itself has already like increased the amount of time it takes from prototyping to production, or from ideation to prototyping. So as you can now see now, a software engineer, a software developer that did not adopt or integrate artificial intelligence into his workflow is going to be somewhat stuck in, I don't know what era it's going to be stuck in, but it's going to be playing catch up, if you can call it. But there are some engineers that, have got ego, and they are saying, oh, I would write my code myself, trying to prove a point to themselves, which now leads to a reduction in efficiency amongst their peers. So what you would do now as a software engineer is to integrate AI, although not to replace your entire human creativity, because there's that. We've got what God gave us, which is creativity. We we're a species that find a way to develop and create stuff that you would honestly not imagine. And I'm referencing the Western world because Nigeria, I don't know, we've got this creativity phase where, I don't know, for some reasons, all that we ever want to start up in this side of the world is a fintech company. And no shades to anyone. I respect that we're trying to bridge the payments infrastructure, but there are a lot of specific sectors that need addressing. We've got healthcare, we've got education, we've got a lot of gaps in logistics, we've got a lot of gaps in transportation. By the way, that is why me and my co-founder started Navia Ride. We've got a lot of other sectors that needs addressing, but everybody just wants to jump on the fintech train. The people that will be replaced by artificial intelligence are the people that do not integrate it into their workflow. And like, yes, there's always going to be a plumber. I don't see any artificial intelligence replacing the plumber or replacing the blue collar job per se in quotes. But the white collar jobs, you're an accountant and you want to audit some documents, or you want to audit your files. I don't know how finance works. So let's say you want to work on some numbers basically, or Excel sheets. An AI model can actually help you work on that. Agentic frameworks, integrate it. And what you're now going to be doing is now reviewing what it is doing, not you doing everything from point one to point two. So that way now you've already increased the efficiency. You're able to do what like 10 people can do. You're able to do it with the AI body. Then depending you can just like think. I don't know what most people career path is. As a medical professional, you can have an AI chatbot where you can, run diagnosis. And this our doc, I don't know if you know Aproko Doctor, he has a kind of product. Our doc, you can chat with the product and all, give you some sort of diagnosis, although AI might make mistakes, so you still have to meet with an human doctor via the platform. But these are stuff you can actually do, like think about, okay, my career path, how can I integrate artificial intelligence? And that way you'll be sure that okay, AI cannot replace you, because with just some sort of buzz, AI is not going to replace people that actually knows how to integrate it into their workflow. But that's pretty much it.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Simile. So, in a nutshell, if you are very conversant, or at least at the very least conversant with AI tools, don't be scared. Your job won't be taken away from you. That's what he says. So hold him by the collar.
Wait, please. Sorry.
Uh,
Don't cut me, please.
but then, I mean, you can just hold him in case the reverse is the case, but God forbid. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Timile. Thank you so much for that insightful session. And we do hope you still stick around. So, moving on quickly to the very, very, very next person, because time is of essence. And time in itself is a very beautiful currency. All right, so moving on to the very next person. Miss Tonia, our financial experts. So this question, basically, I'm going to ask you a question that is in line with your background, and it has to do with the fact that for the first half of the year, for many people, it comes with financial pressure, it comes with shifting priorities, and a lot of balancing. What has been your biggest financial or personal hurdle this year, and how exactly did you navigate it?
Okay, so can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can.
My biggest hurdle the last 5 minutes has been trying to this call, and I'm so pissed. I had network issues, and I feel like a major part of today's session. So please, I'm looking for notes or something from someone at the end of the call because I only got it from that. So now back to the actual question. Okay, you asked me what my biggest financial hurdle has been this year, right? And how I navigated that. I think there's going to be a bit of a backstory to that. So I came back from the States where I served in for my NYSC in August last year. And nothing prepares you for post NYSC life. Yes, Alawi is small. None of us really fully survived on just that, but then it was something stable that kept coming in, something that you would know you're grateful for till you do not have it. Please, can you still hear me? I feel like I don't know if I'm on the call, if my network is acting up. All right, thank you. So yeah, suppose that I didn't have a stable income stream anymore. I tutor on the side, online tutoring, but then post NYSC from August to December, I had plans for my postgraduate studies that wasn't allowing me to take on lots of jobs. So basically I was in the red, but it was fine because I was also in a reset phase. I just needed to put my head down and study and stuff like that. But then coming into 2026 in the month of January, I was ready to move to the next phase of my life. Postgraduate studies didn't go as planned, so now I'm back in corporate world, and I landed a graduate training job in January. So I started earning. So my biggest hurdle financially this year was not making. It wasn't that I wasn't making money or earning, but it was that I was struggling with something you call delayed gratification. I started earning in January. Money was coming in, and I had a financial goal this year. One of it is to make larger investments in stocks and make good buys that I'd written down in my notes prior to beginning of the year. But then here I am making some money now, and it's hard to meet my goal. Please tell me, why is it hard? I'll tell you why. I started getting invites to my friends, invites that I had turned down post NYC when I came back because I was in the red. But now I have money, right? And now I'm getting texts like, oh, let's hang out this weekend, let's go for this dinner. Oh, this person celebrating her birthday, she's inviting us for a dinner. I'm like, okay, oh, birthday dinner, I'm outside. But it's your birthday dinner, but I'm the one that's supposed to buy food. It's your birthday dinner, but the restaurants we're going to, minimum order is 40K. There go, this birthday dinner. I thought you're celebrating birthday means I'll come and eat. Now I'm coming to spend money. I'm like, this is going on here. Next thing, I had relegated skincare coming from NYC will test your skincare. To test it. So I'm back with NYC now. I'm earning small money. I'm being reminded snail mucin is there. You sure you don't want to buy snail mucin? You don't want to buy Ophelia? Lots of things kept trying to get the money that I was earning that I had a goal for, which was investment, right? So I realized I was struggling again. I'm a person that is big on principles. I do not think making money is the same thing as building wealth. They are not the same thing. It's easy to make money. Not easy, even in this economy, but it's easier to make money than to build wealth. They don't correlate. They don't necessarily feed into each other all the time, telling the honest truth. There are some people that don't actively earn daily, but they have built wealth for themselves, and I'll explain. But before I get into that, there are principles underlying that. First thing is discipline. I realized in January that I was lacking in that discipline. That's why I said I struggle with delayed gratification. I'm closing from work. I'm thinking of how do I move from Lekki phase 1 to where I stay on the island. I want to enter a short class ride. I want AC to blow me. But then to meet my goal, I had to use public transport, which meant I was getting home late, like 10 p.m. Getting home late throughout the hours you're spending on the road, you can't walk. You get home late by 10 p.m. because of you spent the past 3 hours in Lagos traffic. You have to put in extra 2 hours if you want to meet your deadline. Those were the things that I was doing. Angie's attacking us from the global Abuja. Please, people should leave us in Lagos. But anyways, I started putting those things in place. I started learning. Second principle, I mentioned discipline, right? As a principle for building wealth. Second principle in life and in wealth also is the ability to say no. Says saying no with my full eyes, nose, ears. Come outside. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm really sorry, I can't. Oh, there's this new hairstyle that is going on. You have to make it with extensions. No, please, give me lush kinky. No, please. Like I started saying lots of no's, and I started being more disciplined in my spending. And then guess what? I started hitting that goal. So I navigated this hurdle by implementing these two things: ability to say no and then discipline. My goal initially at the beginning of the year was to save 100K monthly, which I was going to channel into my investments. I started hitting that goal. I know you might not be earning as much as I was, or might be earning even more. One thing I want to say is that it doesn't have to do with how much you earn. These principles cut across board. I watched an interview that I really hope you guys were among the thousands of people I saw that liked it. An interview of Tony Lumelu, right? And I was explaining something. He said that he decided to not have a car so that he could make purchases on some property, right? He channeled what he couldn't have into buying real assets. Yeah, he's richer than all of us, but it was the same principle. He had to be disciplined. His mates had cars. I remember the interviewer asked him, he was like, so you didn't have a car for a long time? He said, yes, I didn't have a car for a long time. And then guess what he said after that? But I just bought my fourth private jet. You cannot earn money that will buy your fourth private jet monthly. You cannot earn it. Even our president's salary, I don't think is up to that. So it's not any money that gets you that, it's building wealth that gets you that. And guess what? It's the same principle that I applied to get my 100K that Lumelu applied to get his fourth private jet. Discipline and saying no to a car so he could buy a piece of land that then got him some money. So I'm saying that right now, whatever your goal is, right? I don't know how much you're earning, below 50, below 100, below 150. You can go from ending each month. Let me give you an analogy. I know 200 naira is minimal. In my area now, from my bus stop to, I stay at a cotton. My bus stop, I stay at Governor's Road to a cotton, it's a 200 naira keke. That seems minimal. I can afford that. I'm just giving an example. Yours could be chickweed. Say frying Akara. Yours could be chickweed. Yours could be name your whatever you spend your money on that is small. Because I'm telling you, in the moment that desire comes, you're like, it's just 2.5 for chickweed now. I beg this your Zobo looks very healthy. You want to it's cheap. Oh, tiger nut 1.5. It's cheap. Very minimal amount, right? So you don't see why you should save it. Why should I put 1.5 inside an account? It doesn't make any sense. But I'm telling you that if you start saving that 1.5, that 200 naira keke money, like me that was jumping bus at Oshodi, even though I could afford short class because I needed to save and hit my 100K goal. You could go from being like this. I'm going to describe it. Oh my goodness, January has ended. July has ended. I did not save 100K. I had planned to save 100K. To being like this. Oh, this month I saved 15K. That's small, oh. But actually, if I save 15K again next month, 15K again next 3 months, I'm halfway through to 100K. You go from being bummed out that you didn't meet a 100K savings goal to being a tiny bit excited that you have 15K and now you're even more strengthened to do more next month. I'm telling you, tiny jobs make an ocean financially. One plot of land can become an acre. Tiny investments can build up 40 million naira and you buy your first car, but it started from somewhere. So I don't know if I've answered the question. I just went on to give a motivational speech. But yeah, my struggle was delayed gratification. I navigated it by saying no, like mad. Say no. Say no a lot. They will forgive you. Because when you will now finally, funny thing is, a friend of mine who was my best friend, actually, she is my best friend, she was in a bigger shoe than I was in, right? She was in NYSC, earning well from her PPA, earning well from Alawi. Things were going well. She's the one that's always inviting me for those dinners. Guess what? She passed out in December last year. enter the post NYSC phase. And I'll be like, Alpha, you guys have not gone out. It's like, no, I told them no. They planned outing for this month. I cannot go. I'm like, oh, now you cannot go. Well, last how many months you wanted to kill me that I could not go. Because now you can see that your financial status has changed, and to improve it and ensure that you don't sink, you have to say no and be disciplined. So guys, please, let's pick our future selves over our current comfort, so that next time 5 years we're meeting as TGC, we are all talking about our fourth private jet. I want Global Angie to come and interview me on how I bought my fourth private jet, please. So that's all, guys. For more tips, join the Growth Circles World Traders Club. Cha-cha.
Okay. I don't know about you all, but the only thing I heard is Clarissa plan an outing and invite Tonia to come and pay the bills. Shikina. That is the
You,
only thing I heard.
you cannot find me there.
That's the only thing I heard. Plan an outing. Invite Tonia. She will clear the bills. Straight up for you. That is what I heard. I don't know about you. But thank you so much, Tonia. Thank you for so much clarity with your answers. And to be very serious and a very much more serious no. You see the ability to say no. That two-letter word, no, will save you from a lot. It will save you from a lot. When you were speaking, it reminded me of some things I do sometimes where I'm like, you know what? Just spend it. I used to be such a chronic saver. I still save, but I think it was better before than maybe at some point. But I was like, if you don't get it now, you probably wouldn't get it again. Just do it. Just do it. But you see the ability to always tell yourself, okay, because you have a goal in mind, because you have a target you want to reach, and you must hit that target. There are certain things you must deprive yourself from right now, so that in the next maybe 2 years, we're buying our fourth, fifth private jet, and then our issues will be, oh, where do I get to park this jet now? Because it seems like, all the hangars are filled up, they're occupied. That should be the kind of problems we'll be considering. But thank you very much, Tonya. I think we're also going to come back to you with one or two more questions, because the financial advice you are spreading this evening, we can't find it on the streets of Lagos. And by the way, you do Lagos. Ugh, I don't envy you.
No way it's allowed. Is
my
let's
brother
put this between us.
relates. Lagos is, people still stay there. Sorry. All right, so we're going to quickly move on to our very next panelist, in person of Mr. Kelvin, who happens to be a corporate buddy and at the same time an entrepreneur. So as someone who is balancing both, what does it actually take to build and to sustain a business in an economy like ours? Mr. Kelvin, over to you.
Okay, hi everybody. Can you guys hear me? Can everybody hear me, please? Okay, please permit me. I would not be able to turn on my camera. I know TGA will beat me now. See, I knew that would be her reaction. But apologies, I had to leave where I was comfortable to come out because the network started fluctuating. So in case you hear bike or goats, just know I'm outside. Okay, so to be honest, yeah, the economy we find ourselves is not a fun one. And to build something in this economy takes a lot of effort, to be honest. Um, my friends are here. You can ask them. They'll tell you that I have built and stopped, started again, stopped, started again, go back to the drawing board, come back and tell myself, okay, this has to be done. This and this has to. And then there are times where it's even overwhelming. And then I pick up the phone and I call one of them and be like, oh, I'm tired. Like, I want to just give up. Like, seriously. it's real, right? And the best advice I would give for whoever is trying to juggle the workspace and being an entrepreneur is, like a lot of the panelists have said here, consistency. Nobody is saying that you can't stop. You can stop, take a breather, relax, take a break, but then don't stop and end it there. Come back, right? TGA can bear me witness. Dr. Fezino can bear me witness. I have stopped multiple things. In fact, this year alone, I feel like I've closed down 2 businesses and I've started it up again, right? It's it can be overwhelming at times, you're doing something and then, you're not seeing results. You see, result is something that drives us a lot, right? When you're not seeing results, you tend to want to just quit. But then, like Mr. Adebisi said, I love what he said, where he was like, he decided to continue and, he was showing up, even juggling his 9 to 5, he batch created, right? For people who are doing business, especially for me as an automobile dealer, there are times where a particular weekend, I just call my guys, I'll be like, how far? We're going to the car stand. Oh. They're like, right now, then we'll all go together. We can shoot like 5 to 10 cars in one day. But then it will run for like 2 weeks because we don't post all the 10 cars in one day. We take our time and then we give different styles to it. We don't do the same thing for one particular car for the other car, you know. And then, having to juggle 9 to 5, I never even knew that the role as a compliance officer can be so taxing till I started. And I was like, oh, okay, wow. And then having to juggle that and juggle in 9 to 5, sorry, and juggle my own business, can be very. Mm-mm. But then, the fact that you have people, right? TG gives thanks for the gift of men, right? The fact that you have people and the fact that you are able to delegate some things to other people in your team is beautiful. So my advice would be take breaks, come back, be consistent, delegate when you need to. There are times that I don't even have to be at the car stand to make videos. There are people who do it for me. And then there are times I don't even have to post. I don't think I've even posted on my WhatsApp story about, oh, I sell cars in a long time. But then every day, there are people who market the cars I have for sale. Why? Because I didn't just say, oh, I have to carry this on my head alone. There are people who they find um, their daily bread from having to post my cars for sale, right? They make their money, I make my money too. I have delegated the task of having to post on a consistent base to other people. They're making money, I'm making money. Do you understand? So consistency, taking breaks, going back to the drawing board. You see, no people on the look going back to the drawing board a lot. There are times where you actually need to take a step back and re-strategize. And I believe that's why we're having this webinar or this meeting today, resetting. Because from January till now, the goals I had, I don't think I met up to half of them. But then, every time I call a friend, they'll tell me, oh, don't worry, let's think about it this way. Let's restart this. Or let's look. So having people is another huge impact to having to juggle both 9 to 5 and owning a business. There are days you can feel so burnt out that you just come back and you sleep. You would not even cook there. To enter the kitchen and say, oh, you want to cook, especially for the foodies like me, you would not have the time to. Because it can be very overwhelming. But then by the time you talk to someone and then they tell you, oh, yeah, it's normal, we've had this, The burden might be 100, but then it drops down to like a 35 because you're able to talk to someone. They were able to give you a different perspective of how to take the is it take the something by the horse, a bit by the tail. What's that popular phrase? Sorry. You take steps to making sure that you don't burn out from having to juggle both things at the same time, and then you also go back to the drawing board. I hope I was able to answer the question. Yes, take the bull by the horn. God bless you.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Kelvin. And yes, you did answer the question. And like Mr. DBC said, take the bulls by the horn. Okay, so just for clarity, yeah, we've had two panelists talk about this is for our creators, yeah. Talk about the essence of batch creating those content. There are so many of us that are in this very, very point, at this very point where we are not consistent with our posts. We are very, very inconsistent with our posts. We post today and we put maybe in the next 3 months, in the next 5 months. So this is just a little cue. You could slide into anyone's DM and ask questions for clarity. Because if these people can juggle a very, very hectic 9 to 5 and still have time for their personal businesses to create content, trust me, we'll be able to pull through as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Kelvin, for that. And for clarity again, in case you want to make a purchase for a vehicle and you are confused, you don't even know where to start from, or there are certain things you have on your list before making that purchase, please contact Mr. Kelvin. I think he's your go-to person. And if there's anyone here too who is in line with that, please um please do tell us in the chat box. Thank you very much. So now I still have questions for my audience, and I do not know why this audience have refused to participate with us, but it is well. Okay, so okay, and so yeah, we have a business owner lounge. It's a sub part of TGC, which we will talk more about at the end of this roundtable conversation. Okay, so I have a question here, and it says that how many people here feel like they are one bold decision away from changing the trajectory of their year, but fear has kept them from making that move? You feel like if you take this particular decision right now, today, the whole point of your existence will completely turn around. But as a result of fear of the unknown, fear of, a lot of uncertainties, you've been holding back. It is time to speak up, please.
Clarissa, sorry, please, could you come again?
Okay, I was asking that is there anyone here who feels like there's this one decision that if they make that decision, it's completely going to change the narrative of their life? And when I say change the narrative, I'm talking about for the better, but out of fear or as a result of uncertainties, they've been holding back. I think this is time for such persons to talk about it. Let's get to know what kind of fear is holding you back from getting to your next level. Is it fear of failure, fear of it not working out? Let's have a conversation. This is a very honest conversation. Like I said, this is a space for raw and honest conversations, and that is exactly what we are having here. So please. Okay, since we don't have a volunteer, I am going to call on this person that just dropped a laugh emoji. Superior. Superior Atsumen. Could you please answer that? I feel like you have something to say.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Sorry, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. I'm
You go
sorry about
ahead, question. Thank you. Your
that.
mistake will be done.
Well, but for the decision, I don't actually have anything holding me back because I'm currently doing what I set out to do throughout the year. Like I'm actually doing what I want to do. So there's really no big decision that I haven't taken. Let me put it that way.
Okay, thank you very much, Superior. Okay, we have two persons who have indicated. I'm going to start with eBay Mary Francisca. Could you please unmute and share with us that one thing that you should have done to change the trajectory of your life, but as a result of different you haven't done?
Okay, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me clearly. Okay, so I don't know. I haven't or I haven't answered the question yet. I guess I'm just surveying, which is weird. Okay, for me, I don't know who also has this issue with me, but I'm somebody who has split personalities. In the sense that I have splitted interest. Like I'm interested in a lot of things. And because of that, it has made my 2026 or my previous years very, very stressful because I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that. And being in a country that you know that you need funds to literally do like everything, it's hard to pick a particular thing and literally like focus on. Like if you want to pick graphic designs, I want to pick creative writings. What if graphic design making more money than creative writing? Then how do you then how do you make a choice? So I feel like if I can take out the fact that, oh, I know I need funds, yeah, but take out the money mentality from it, no matter how scary it is, and literally just focus on one thing. It's scary because I know that if I do that, how do I fix my bills or pay my bills and every other thing? How do I do it? If I literally just want to sit down and focus on one particular thing, then will the bills pay themselves? So that's the fear for me. And still haven't been able to decide one particular thing I can literally like focus on. It has literally like ruined a lot of things for me. But with that with level of interest, you will notice that you can't be staying on you can't do one thing for a very long time. You just drop dead in the middle of the road. So it's a very lovely gift to have interest in a lot of things, but it's like a curse at the same time because you literally don't know what to do. Finance, creativity is there. You know, you have like this innate knowledge to do everything, but you are literally like stuck because 2026, I've been fighting with it for a very long time. And honestly, I came here with the idea of maybe I'll look for somebody, maybe someone will see something that would resonate with me and I'll pick it up. So, on my own end, I think that's where I've fallen. So, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Francisca. Okay, so I'm still going to call on some other persons who have indicated interest in speaking, but before I do that, I don't know if you were here when we started this conversation, but if you weren't, and for the sake of those who weren't, I'm going to go back to what our very first panelist made mention of. She highlighted two different things. She's a medical doctor, or rather, a medical student, and she's also a brand owner. She talked about priorities and passion. And as the name implies, priorities, you must always prioritize your priorities over your passion. That's not to say that you're going to neglect those passions. No, but you should always put what is of utmost importance first before every other passion. I can relate to the fact that you have multiple interests in, different things. And of course our founder is also a multi-potentialite. You can have multiple interests in different things, but you need to know when to separate what the priorities are and what the passion is. Like you said, the bills are not going to pay themselves, so you must do the work. Know that, okay, this priority stands as this is what helps me pay my bills. And for this passion, of course you can pay your bills out of passion when they become monetized, but before that takes place, you have to focus on your priorities. Yeah. All right. So I hope this little snippet gives you a bit of clarity. So we're going to move on to Mr. Ezekiel Miche. I think he has had his hand up for a while. Mr. Ezekiel, over to you. And afterwards, we'll have Miss Angela Olua. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I think, did you call me? I don't know if you called me, but my network is terrible. And I just wanted to add add
Hello?
clarity, more clarity to that issue of being a multi-potential, right? So when it comes to having too many passions, too many interests, one thing I've had to learn in the long run is, what is that one thing that ties every single passion you have together? Because there is something. See, most of these different things you want to do, there is something that ties everything together. They have a common ground. So you need to find that common ground, then focus on that common ground. When you focus on that common ground, you get to be able to spread tentacles. You get to be able to express those parts of you, because you've built the foundation, you've built on that common ground. And I call that common ground the golden thread. For every multi-potential, every of your interests, there is something that connects it together. So like me now, there's something I know, I'm not going to say. What matters the most for me is that particular thing. So when I'm able to do that particular thing, every single other thing I want to do is going to stem off from that one particular thing. The problem with many of us multi-potentialites is that we think that, oh, because of the many interests we have, we just want to do different things. But once you're able to sit back with yourself, once you're able to reflect, you're able to think deep, you would actually find a way. Because I've actually done a full teaching on this on my LinkedIn. You would actually find one thing that connects. There's a thread that connects everything together. So what is that one thing that, if you build it so well, it's going to be the foundation on which every other thing is going to build upon? That it's like a book, you are writing like a book. What's the title of that book? The title of that book is that common ground. So the title of this book is Angela Olu Anifoshi. When I build Angela Olu Anifoshi, I am able to find an expression. I'm able to find growth circle as an expression of Angela Olu Anifoshi. I'm able to find the content creator as an expression of Angela Oluwanifoshi. I am able to find the coach, the wealth coach, as an expression of Angela Oluwanifoshi. So there is something that ties every single thing you want to do together. You need to find that one thing. Once you find that one thing, stay with it till it is able to stand. You need to be able to focus on it. You need to be able to silence every other thing. Stay with that thing. Every other thing you're looking to do now is already embedded in that thing, but you need to get that thing right first. I hope this has helped to add clarity. But if you need more, I've made a series on this. I've helped people become better. I've helped people to scale. With no clarity, they've gained clarity, and now they're doing better. So if you need that, you can send me a DM. I would find the link to that set of posts, and I'll send it to you.
Okay, thank you very much, our amazing founder. All right, so Mary, I hope you're gaining clarity as you're actively listening and paying attention to this discussion. Mr. Ezekiel, over to you, please. if you could please do that in 2 minutes or less, I would really appreciate that because time is of essence.
Yes, thank you very much. I've learned a lot actually. But my own is that I am someone that has a lot of ideas. Now, I don't know if that is the same as being a multiple potentiate, but I have a lot of ideas that flood my mind on on things I can do to make everything around me better. And one fear that strikes me many times is that these ideas will just either die with me or go into other people that will execute them. So I guess what my biggest fear is how to translate ideas or visions into reality, and those systems that are necessary to bring those things to reality. I find that I genuinely don't have enough of those systems. And one thing that keeps recurring in this conversation is the gift of men and communities like that. So my fear, I will just summarize them into 2 points: having ideas that I am afraid that they are going to die with me, and of course, lacking such systems to execute those things. So yes, that's all I wanted to point out. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ezekiel. Thank you so much for helping us. Okay, so I'm going to quickly move on to our very next round of questions because time is of essence. I want to confirm, do we still have Mr. Kelvin on this call? Okay, he's not here currently. All right, so we're going to go back to Dr. Annette. Dr. Annette, are you still with us?
Yes, Clarissa, I'm here.
I just wanted to hear your beautiful voice. I know you're here.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so the next question for you here has to be that as we step into the second half of the year, many
Mhm.
people are wondering whether rather pivot completely or simply be consistent. So now, based on your own journey, what healthy reset actually look like? What should people stop carrying into the next 6 months, and what should they intentionally keep doing, even if they don't understand it?
Okay, thank you so much, Clarissa, and the panelists who have been speaking. I mean, I had to, there's a lot I've been putting together. Thank you so much. I think I'll just kind of have a connection to what Mary and Ezekiel also mentioned, or the question, or just relating to what it is. And the first thing here is the fact that nobody is coming to save us. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to translate the importance of the vision of who you are than you yourself, right? There's an instruction to write your vision and make it plain so that he that readeth it might run with it. But if you yourself as a person, you're unable to do that, people will not be able to come and, run through with it. So I think the first thing is settling with the conversation of identity. The conversation of identity. Now, when we talk about identity, we're very quick because I am more like a confidence coach. While Mary was speaking, I can relate so much. Being a multi-potentialite, so I do sessions for people where we go through sessions together for different cohorts, and what I do is I listen to you and we're able to extract the beauty of what you should be doing. That's sort of what it is. So let's talk. When we get to have a conversation, through such conversations, there are a series of questions that would help you position to say, okay, that's why I have so many things I want to do. This this is exactly what I can be doing in the midst of that. So identity, when we say it, the first thing that comes to our heart is just, oh, I'm a confident person. No. Let's settle with the fact that the first layer of identity is self-awareness, knowing who you are, where you are at the moment. Oh, I think I am more of an idea person. I had a friend who we've always been friends, but recently I think we started talking more often. I am more of the idea person, and he is an executor, right? So I realized that in this space, this is my weakness, and he complements this. I also have a friend who she is also an executor. So I speak to her about the things I want to do. Quickly, she's like, okay, put this in place, put this in place, put this in place. Now, these people are not going to find you most of the times. You see, when we talk about gift of men, we think they'll just fall from heaven and land in our DMs sometimes. While we're having this conversation, in fact, from the panelists, I know some persons that I personally will have to go and reach out to and network with them beyond this space, because I'm like, hearing them speak, I'm like, this person, I need to have something to do with this person. So the growth circle, we're putting this together to ensure that you can now open up your space. It's a circle, like, oh, if you're not the person that goes out, you're not the person who communicates with people, this is the room, right? So first things, settle the concept of identity, the concept of being aware of who you are, being aware of, okay, I have issues. Let me be shocking.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you. So settling the fact that, okay, sorry, okay. Can you hear me now? Let me be sure. I think I have a glitch in my network. Okay. So first things, understanding where you are. It's okay to not have it figured out, please. It's okay to not have it figured out. Like, but you first even need to know where you are. Okay, I have this figured out. I know what to do next. Step by step. I don't have any idea what I'm doing right now. That's a level of identity, right? The second thing is, it's time to stop hiding. I see people who, you have so much to do, you have so much to give to your world, and you're staying behind the scene. As we move into the second half of the year, that thing called I'm shy, I'm introverted, I am an anti-introverted person. When I see people that say I'm introverted, I really don't do that. Don't do that, my darling, don't. You are built for greatness. You would have to enter into rooms. And I tell people, on God's backing, if you want it, go and get it. Go and get it. It's just like I would give you a scenario of a young man. You see this young lady, you say, oh, I love this girl. And blah, 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 blah. I'll tell you a story I tell people sometimes. Something happened. We were, growing up some years before now, and they announced this young lady getting married, and one brother just like, Jesus, Jesus. He started shouting, and he was like, God. And they had to like take him out. It's like, how will sister? And she didn't look like she was in a relationship. She didn't look like something was bro, shoot your shots, shoot it. You have something when you enter into a room and you know that I can give this value, then you're now sitting behind the scene waiting for someone who maybe is not even as, would I say, valuable as you, or even as intellectual as you, or as well learned as you. But the difference between the both of you is two things: audacity. Now I tell people another thing. It's good to have audacity, but it's also important to have authenticity, right? It's good to, you have the audacity to step into the room. So now you've cleared yourself and you say, okay, I'm aware of where I am right now, understanding the value that I can give. As we move into the second half, be ready to position yourself. When you step into rooms, be ready to let people know this is what I do. Be ready to be able to identify opportunities when you see them. Be able to connect with people. Some of us, we go for conferences, you go, you sit in your seat. So they say, ask question, you sit down there. Some of us have been on this call. You want to say something, you say, hey, my voice is not my this, you're thinking, no. Speak out. So first, have a clear reality of who you are, where you are at the moment. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be well planned out. No. Just understand where you are at the moment. Secondly, go for what you want. Put fear aside. Fear is not going to help us. Speak to whoever you need to speak to. I need this person in my life. I'm going to reach out to them. And the best thing that they can say is a no. No is a good and fine. They tell me a no. That's fine. That, oh no, I don't want to have anything to do with you. Perfect. Me, I like no, so if you tell me no, you've given me your word. But it is my responsibility to go back to my table and say, that person told me, but I'm not going to accept it. I will go back there. And the next time, okay, someone said they can't hear me clearly. Okay, they hear me clearly. Okay, yes, I like that. So when you move into a room, move with two things. And I think I'll end with this. Move with audacity, but what will sustain you as you move and you progress in the second half, as we all, because it's also for me and it's also for you, as you move with audacity into rooms with people, it's important to back up your audacity with authenticity. I think that's it for me. Yeah.
The Annette voice. Could you please just continue? Don't stop. Please don't stop. Just go on and on. Could you please do that? Okay, thank you very much, the Annette voice. Thank you very much, Dr. Yakubu. And if you are not taking anything from this session, if you feel like all that has been said for the past 1 hour, for the past 2 hours plus is irrelevant, take this: audacity plus authenticity is key. When people keep telling you, oh, this is my year of being audacious, it starts now. But the thing is that you're not just moving with audacity as um you're not replicating, you're being as authentic as possible, you're being as original. There is no other like you. If it is one Clarissa Pepple, it is one Clarissa Pepple. If it is one Angela, it is one Angela. If it is one Annette, it is you, and there is no other copy or version of you. So keep that in your head, in your brain, that this June, July, and the remaining of 2026, I am moving and stepping into rooms with so much audacity. I'm no longer going to stand behind the scenes. I'm no longer going to shrink myself or even second guess myself, because you know what? There is so much greatness in you, like she said. There is so much greatness. It is just for you to, take the bull by the horn. Yeah. Take the bull by the horn and say that, you know what, I am going to do this. If I want this, I am going to pursue this with all I have got, with the backing of God. So, quickly, there's going to be a slight break in transmission. Okay, probably that will be later on when the person comes up. I'm going to move on quickly to our very, very, very next speaker, in person of Dr. Ifizino. Dr. Ife, I hope you're ready for us. Okay, so you've built impact across healthcare, education, and community development while leading a non-profit and serving others. Has there been a moment this year where you felt the weight of doing it all? I think you made mention of that earlier, where you felt like you were juggling a lot. Yeah. And you also talked about delegating, but I want you to still break it down. How did you reset your focus? Now, this is more like how did you reset your focus, not about your purpose and resilience, but how exactly do you reset your focus and protect your energy so you could keep the ball rolling? Dr. Ife, are you with us?
Sorry, I didn't get the last part of your question. My line was breaking.
Okay, so um, still in line with the previous question I asked, but this one has to do with, has there been any moment this year where you felt the weight of doing everything? But particularly, how did you reset your focus and protect your energy so you could keep the ball rolling?
Okay. So I think a lot of the time people see leadership and they just see the outcome a lot of the time, but forgetting that, I mean, there's a background to everything that's happening and there's service involved in all of that. So how have I, like you said earlier, I mentioned being overwhelmed and whatnot, and being able to balance was a key thing I learned, and that helped me very much. So, what the moments I felt,
Okay, I want to believe that her network is unstable. We're going to give her about 1 minute. If she doesn't join the call, I'm going to quickly move on to the very next panelist for tonight. Okay, she's back.
sorry, sorry about that. Okay, so the moments I felt overwhelmed and how I reset. So, one of the things I do is when I'm beginning to feel that way, I take a step back and I look at why did I start this in the first place? Because it can get to a point where you're so frustrated and you're confused and you're overwhelmed. And you're like, what is all of this that I'm doing? A lot of things are competing for your time. How do you prioritize? How do you do this? I tend to withdraw in those moments when it becomes overwhelming for me and a lot of things are dragging for my attention. I just shut off, go back, step back, take a step back, and try and see, okay, what exactly needs me more now? What does not need me more? How do I go about this? What is needed first? And then reset by resting, because you can want to do a lot of things at the same time. You want to do this, you have a lot of deadlines coming. But if you don't take care of the person that is doing that thing, there's no way you're going to miss that goal. So one of the key things that I do to help me reset is take a step back from the world, take a step back from everything that is shouting at me, that is screaming at me, that is demanding my attention. Take a step back, even if it's just for a few hours, shut off my phone, go off and just be in my own space. Look at, okay, what do I need to do? Because yes, there are times where a lot of things are urgent at the same time. I mean, this person is calling you, you have a deadline to meet, this person is calling you, oh, this patient, this, that. But I mean, those are two very important things, and you just have to look and say, okay, you know what? Understand the urgency of both, but there are points where you need to prioritize yourself. Because in as much as we are talking about research, the time we forget that we're also human beings, and that while there are a lot of things we want to achieve, a lot of the time we end up neglecting ourselves in the process. If you neglect yourself in the process of trying to achieve a lot of all these things, at the end of the day, you would look back and say, oh, had I known. So it is very important that you take out time consciously, intentionally to rest, do what you need to do, take a breather, then go back to the drawing board. When it seems like you are confused, you don't know what next to do, go back to the drawing board. I think somebody already mentioned that, one of the panelists. Go back to the drawing board. Okay, so why did I start this? What was the push? What was the push? What was the intention? Why did I want to do this? What was the purpose? What is this for? And remind yourself why all those things, why you started those things in the first place. And I've seen that when you do that, it helps you refocus and helps you reset. So I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and I was just saying how, oh, the first half of the year is over. I need to look at my book. I know that there are a lot of things I wrote down in the beginning of the year that, as the year has gone, you asked a question earlier. Is there something that you wrote in the beginning that the way this year has gone now, you've not been able to achieve it? Yes. And so I've said, I want to look at my goal book, go through it again, understand, okay, why did I write this? What was my thought process then? What did I want to achieve with this? And reevaluate and see. And that's the essence of this reset. Sit down, look at what you have said you want to do, look at where you are right now, look at where you want to go to, and put all those factors into place and rewrite, go back to the drawing board, draw everything again. Those that you have already started, you've started the foundation for, build on it. Those that you could not start, or you started and along the way something happened, wonderful. Like Kelvin mentioned earlier, or was it Adebisi? Somebody mentioned, when you stop, don't stop there. Okay, that was Kelvin. When you stop, don't stop there. Just make sure, even after stopping, you continue. You've stopped, you've taken your breather, you've talked to the people you need to talk to. And that is why you do not underestimate the roles of mentors in your life, and again, the gift of men, because these are the people that will ground you when it seems like everything is going haywire, everything is going crazy. They will remind you when you've shared your goals with these people and they understand what your drive is. They'll be the ones to say, okay, calm down, come back, this is what you wanted to do, this is how you were talking about it. If you wouldn't work that way, that's fine. Go back, start again, draw it again, go back to the drawing board. You can, I mean, you brought it up the first time, something else will come out from where that creativity flowed from. So those are one of the things those are a few of the things. First of all, rest when necessary. Rest when necessary. Have enough people around you to support you. Not just people now, people of class and caliber, like people that actually have substance, not just people that are surrounding you and they're not contributing anything to you, but have people that have substance. And when you talk to them, you know that you don't go back the same way, because you have gone to meet substance and you are returning fully, fully charged and ready for the next phase.
Madam Clarissa, she's done. Thank you so much, Dr. Efezino.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ifezino. My apologies. I was trying to unmute my mic. All right, thank you. So I think um we should also note the fact that in as much as we are being consistent, in as much as we want to put in a lot of energy, pour out our hearts into everything that we're doing, do not forget that when you feel burned out, if you feel like you're experiencing a lot, take a step back. Yeah. Always remember to take a step back. Always remember that you can always go back to drawing board if you feel confused and you don't know which way to go from there. It's important in the journey of growth, right? So thank you so much, Dr. Vizino. So we're going to quickly move on to Tonia with her last question for tonight. Tonia, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Where I can leave my camera.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to ask you a two-in-one question. Okay. How do you keep the ball rolling, building your career, serving clients, creating content?
Sorry, could you come in?
Okay, how do you keep the ball rolling in terms of
Okay.
career, serving clients, and still growing personally? what systems, what habits, what routines help you stay consistent even when motivation, fails. And then a lot of people that started the year strong, but kind of have slowed down after June or in the month of June, and so they still want to finish this year strong. How exactly, or what exactly should they be doing, or should they start doing now? And what should they stop doing immediately? So, what's your best advice for immediate resets that actually leads to results?
I think that was the first part of the question. How do I keep going even motivated low, and how do I handle growing in my career, personal brand, and I think my extracurricular activities, just to sum that up. Okay, firstly, regarding my career, I'm a finance and investment analyst. And what that means is that I help startups, right? I provide them structure. I help startups move from being founder-led businesses to becoming companies that can scale, access investment, and compete on a global scale. So what that means is that you might want to start a business, right? In manufacturing, in fashion, in technology, you're the founder, you have the vision, but then we help your business go from being maybe a sole proprietor that probably earns enough to meet your basic needs to becoming a company that has a board, has tens to hundreds of employees, and that can compete globally, have access to foreign capital, basically become the big companies that you see today, become a unicorn, become an industry player. So that's where I come in. I build that structure for startups. So corporate life for me is not 9 to 5. A corporate life is more like 5 to 4 a.m., 5 a.m. to 4 a.m. It honestly never stops. The world of consulting, right? Because you're working with several businesses. One thing that keeps me on track, because I'll tell you, motivation sometimes is very low. I'll tell you honest truth. There are nights that you feel like you don't know how you want to stand up from a seat and find yourself like back to your house. You don't know how you want to move. There are days that you are stumped. You have the documents that is needed at the board meeting, but then like you haven't gotten it ready yet. Even when you need to get it ready, currently do not have. So there are moments like that where you're frustrated. I'm telling you, just know how to get out of this box. One thing that keeps me going is my why. And I learned this from my boss, is like mentor to me at work. She explained her why to me, and I gleaned from that. So I'll be explaining this why to you and hoping that you can glean from this when you hit a block. I know your motivation is at an all-time low. And the why is this: the people that we work for are people that we care about, right? These businesses are owned by founders that are connected with. I understand why they are building these things. You can even call them friends. You believe in this vision. Then you realize that if you don't show up one day, you keep these people from hitting their goals. And I'm telling you, their goals are not small. These people are trying to bring change, right? Take the growth circle, for example. I have my extracurricular activities, extracurricular arrangements, one of them being the World Builders Club, right, powered by the Growth Circle. There are days that I want to give up, even on that, because I'm not a social media person. Yeah, I remember the third thing Clarissa said, it was content creation. I was trying to remember the third thing you said between my career, my personal brand, content creation you mentioned, right? And Angie is an advocate for putting yourself out there, and she has been on my neck on doing that. Like, Tonya, create more visibility, your LinkedIn, your Instagram. I want to also, but sometimes it's like I don't have enough mental energy for that. But then the World Leaders Club is something that has been entrusted to me, it's something I love, right? But then there's a gap. The gap is for me to do what I love, I need to commit to it. I need to create the videos that people can engage with. I need to engage with this group. And how do I make it work when I'm not motivated? Is that I remember that if I don't show up, I'm not say I've told Andy, but I think I have, right? Because this person believes in me. These people in this group are counting on me. Same thing for the companies I work for at work. I remember my why. My why is that if I don't show up, lots of things will tumble. There are certain people who have vouched for me. Do you understand? Certain people believe in the work that you are doing, that you not showing up is going to hinder their progress. So when I remember that why, it keeps me going. But now I'm going to specify something. It keeps me going. Does not mean it makes me suddenly feel energized. Does not make me suddenly feel like I have superpower. Like, yes, Angie's counting on me. Let's get this work done. No, somebody said something that when you stop, don't end it there. So though now I remember my why and I know why I want to show up tomorrow, might not still show up tomorrow 100%. I might show up 30%, but then I'm showing up. There was something somebody said at the beginning of this session that stuck with me. It's a superpower. It's something that I think we should celebrate more. That's why I love the Growth Circle. We're a community of young people. So what we would celebrate here might not sound like what people celebrate in other circles, because we might celebrate each other just for showing up, because we know how tough that is. The person said, no, not the person, it was Clarissa, I remember. She said the courage to keep going even when the growth is not visible yet. That's something to truly commend. The courage to start each day, even when you realize that your goals are not being close to being met. So when I remember my why and I go the next day, I don't go exactly like 100% like I'm powered up, I'm ready to kill this thing. Not all the time. Sometimes I'm still low on energy. Sometimes I'm still weakened. Sometimes I'm still frustrated. But guess what? I didn't give up. Motivation might be low, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't show up if you remember your why. Your why should make you show up, even though you're not showing up 100%. But when you keep showing up 20%, next day could be 25, next 2 days 30, and then you get to 100% in like maybe a week or something. But you have to keep showing up. And one thing I realized amongst those young people, which is why we are growing together at the Growth Circles, many of us don't have a why. We have a what. We know what we are doing. We can describe it so well. But then why are you doing it? What happens when you have a reason not to show up? Why would you show up? I think those are things you should ask yourself before time, so that because those days will come, I need to have that answer to keep you showing up. So for me, that's what keeps me when my motivation is low. I'm a person that I believe that people tell you take feedback with a smile. Always, collect feedback. I don't give feedback with a smile. I take feedback with tears in my eyes. But then guess what? I'm taking feedback. So that's the same way I feel about motivation. I'm motivated to go again today, but I don't have to smile. I don't have to feel like I'm 100%, but I'm going to show up. So I think it's something we should normalize. So I don't know if this is what was expected, but this is how I deal with it. I show up every day. Doesn't mean I show up like Powerpuff Girls or something, but I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up weak. I'm going to show up tired. I'm going to show up drained, but I will show up. You will always find me there. So that's what keeps me, my why. And I think she asked how I balance it all. I do tasks. People, I don't know, on WhatsApp, you get to pin your chats. I realize that most people pin the chats of their loved ones, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. Me, I pin the chats of people that I need to reply this week. I pin the chats of Well Builders Club has been pinned on my WhatsApp for like a week. I think there was a time like I pin chats of responsibilities basically. Then on my phone, my home page is not funny wallpapers. My wallpapers look like notes. Like for the first 4 months of this year, my wallpaper was like a vision board I created for my goals. Then that's for my lock screen. Then my home screen, I can change the wallpaper every time because I just make notes basically like today's task. Remind myself that you have to show up for this meeting. Remind myself that you told this person to reply them this week. I put notes like that all around. That's what helps me balance it. Then content creation, I just started doing content creation a bit more for Web Builders Club. And what I do is I prepare like a week before. When I prepare a week before is I remind myself that I have something, I have to build this content. So on that day, I'm energized. Like I'm not 20% that day, I'm 100% that day because I planned for it. And that day I shoot like 2 to 3 videos that I then use. So I think structure is what helps me balance things. Structure, notes, like lots of notes, lots of reminders. You need to do this, you need to do that. And I pin chats a lot. I pin chats a lot, a whole lot. That's why times. And one thing that helps, WhatsApp only allows you pin 3 chats. So that thing teaches you to prioritize and to do things quickly. We call it bias for action. It means get things done as soon as possible. Because guess what? Let's say I told Angie I'll give her something today. I pinned her chat. I pinned Well Builders Club because maybe I have to do something this week. I pinned 3. And then guess what? I now have 4 more people that I promised to do something for. How do I unpin to pin the next person? It makes me then speed up doing things because now I've filled up my 3 things. So for me to pin the next urgent task, I need to get that first one done. So that's what helps me balance it. Then now mid-year reset. We've all set goals. When Clarissa asked the question earlier, when she said, "Is there a goal this year that we didn't meet?" I wanted to raise my hand, but I just do want to steal the opportunity from other people, right? Because I had set goals for myself this year that I did not meet. Having honest conversations here, right? One of the goals I had set was to write my ICANN professional exam, the last stage in May. Funny enough, I've tutored ICANN students, tutored CFA level 1 students, but then I haven't written the last paper. Not because I failed it, I've never entered the hall. And that's because of structural issues. My name is Tonia, right? But then most people hear my name, I think is Antonia. I used to let things like that slide before, but it has cost me many things like lack of my ICANN certification. But you find out that your name is registered in places that it should not be registered wrongly. And in this country, it takes months to verify this kind of issues. So that has kept me 2 years away from that goal until 2026. So 2026 was the year that it was supposed to happen because I fixed all of that up. But in May, I didn't hit that milestone because I was thrown into the world of consulting. I had lots of things going on. And month of May came, I was like, you know what, I'll just do this in November. But then results for the May ICANN exams came out like a few days ago. And I'm congratulating people and I'm like, Jesus, I would have actually taken this exam. Why did I just write this exam? Like, it didn't make sense why I didn't write it because this is something that I've studied for more than 3 years. Like, when they say you have finished course out like that kind of, I've studied for this more than 3 times. All I had to do was just enter the hall, but I didn't. At the time I made that decision, it was just life was happening, things were getting busy. I just did not prioritize that goal. And now I'm like, why did I not do this? But then it's mid-year reset. I'm not going to kill myself over it. No, which is something that Clarissa asked, which is what should you stop doing? Stop killing yourself over the goals you did not meet for the past 6 years. It does not help. Sulking does not help. Crying does not help. There's how you cried so much to me about the goal you did not meet. I'll tell you that you will not meet it again. I'm going to tell you the honest truth. Somebody is telling me now that I'm so sorry, I didn't meet this goal last month. I feel so bad. I feel so terrible. I'll be like, oh wow, I'm sorry. You won't meet it even the next 6 months. Because I'm telling you, that state you are in, that you think you need to be in, you think you need to kick yourself a lot to make you motivated to fix your goal. It's a lie. Counterproductive. You won't get it done. The way to do it is stand up. Oh, I didn't write this exam. Oh, I didn't hit this financial goal. Okay, that was wrong. Why did I not do it? I think I was scared. Actually, I was just very careless. I was not serious. Okay, just be honest. No need to make yourself, don't beat yourself up. And the next thing is, okay, today, what is the plan I would make to meet that goal? Let's use my ICANN exam, for example. Let's say I'm just like a newbie who has not studied for this course before. You didn't write the May exam. The exam is coming up in November. You felt bad. Now you want to meet the goal in November. You're telling me you want to meet the goal in November. I'm like, okay, let's do this. And then you are planning to start reading by September. By August is when you are planning to start reading. That's when you are telling me you'll start reading. I'll tell you point blank, you're not ready. Not because it's not possible for you to start reading in August and write that exam, but because if you meant it that you want to meet your goal to meet that exam in November, when you were speaking to me right now, you will not have the guts to tell me that you start reading in September. It's procrastination that's already started today. You tell me that you didn't meet your financial goal, you want to save 100K now, ending of this month. I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. I'm like, oh, tomorrow I'm going to use boats to go to the office. You are still not ready. Because you just told yourself that, oh, tomorrow is just boats, but then next tomorrow I will trek. You will not trek next tomorrow. You only trek next tomorrow if you trek tomorrow. Just giving like random examples. Same for the exam. You would only start reading in August if you start reading tomorrow. Nothing stops you from doing it tomorrow. Tomorrow is Monday morning. Start it tomorrow. So my advice to people who did not meet their goals first half of the year, what you should stop doing is, one, stop beating yourself up about it. What you should start doing is start do what we call lead measures. We have lead and lag measures, right? Your lag measure is the big goal you want to meet. The lead measure is the little steps that you are taking to meet that goal that you can track. Start it tomorrow. I don't know, you should have it pen down, whatever it is, however big it is. There is something to do. If it's ICANN, I'm telling you, you can register tomorrow. If it's a financial goal, there's something to cut down on tomorrow. Whatever goals, what other goals do we set for ourselves? If it's I want to look better this new month, tomorrow there's 5 more minutes to add to your dressing up time to invest in looking better. My point is, whatever goal you did not meet in the first 6 months of this year, if you want to meet it in the next 6 months of this year,
Okay, is it my network or hers? Can anyone hear me? Okay, so
First, I can hear you. I think it's on the network.
all right, but I want to believe that she was almost done with her question, which was quite insightful. If you'd ask me, it was pretty much insightful. Thank you very much, Tonia. I don't know if you can hear me or if your network has locked you out, but I sincerely appreciate. So we're going to quickly move on to our very last question for our final panelist for the night. Yeah. Okay, so this is going to go to our very own founder, Miss Angela Olua. Okay, sorry. All right, so CGA, it looks also serious. Why so serious? Okay, that's much better. So now, for everyone listening and those who are thinking of, making one intentional reset before December, whether in their career, finances, relationships, faith, or mindset, what would you challenge them to reset first? First, and why? Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, guys. So if there is one thing I would challenge anybody to do to reset is this. I'm going to start by saying that majority of the time we tend to put our energy, a whole lot of our energy in the work we are to do for other people, because we're introduced into the labor market. So majority of the time we spend energy as our spiritual currency. We spend a whole lot of it doing the work of other people, and then we forget to invest in ourselves. We forget to invest the same level of energy in ourselves. The truth is that life is not 50-50. You can never find a balance. But what you need to do is, it is possible to give 100 to every single thing you want to do. It's just that you need to guard your energy better and in a better light. So what am I trying to say in essence? One research you need to take this season is for you to first and foremost understand that nobody's coming to save you. And whatever decisions you make now is what is going to determine whether or not you are going to stay stuck in the rat chase that we currently are in. Because trust me, based on who we are and the level of things we've been exposed to, we are currently in a rat chase, and the people that got lost in this rat chase were the older people, the older generation. We can see it that they do not have an identity outside of what it is that they do. So you need to find your identity, you need to own your identity, you need to go all out on yourself. So for this next half, I'm putting it to us, I'm challenging us to go all out on ourselves. Why am I saying this? My eyes wanted to tear this past half, but that's just to make it like lighter. This past month, I was forced to drop off every other thing I was doing just to focus on my 9 to 5, because my 9 to 5 went beyond the 9 to 5, and I was literally working 7 days a week. So what am I trying to say? Because we are expending all our energy in this that we do, we forget to take care of ourselves, forgetting that it is ourselves that will remain when these people move on. Because whether or not you like it, they will move on. You can't be there for life, except you don't want to grow. But if you're someone that is growth inclined, that is someone that is minded, someone that has seen where you want to go, you should know that you should not take yourself lightly. And that is why I decided that for the next half, I'm taking out 90 days where I'm going to lock in seriously. I'm going to lock in on myself. I'm going to lock in on putting myself out there, building my voice, building me as a brand, because every other thing I would like to do, every other expressions I would like to have will come from building me first as a brand. So one thing I'm going to do is to embark on the 90-day challenge. And because I have said this, I want to open it to very few people, very few of us, just limited people who are tired of the status quo, who want to change their story. We saw how Tim Elaine came, he was consistent, was able to change their story, but instead of just staying and doing it alone, now you're able to have a body of people that are cheering you on. So I've created a form. And that form is for people that are interested in embarking on this 90-day challenge. This is the 90-day of your own becoming. This is where you get to meet the version of you that you have not yet met. And when you meet that version of you, you get to understand, you get to the point where your time is so precious that you do not sell your time for cheap. Because time is a currency. Because not just money, like I mentioned before, we have energy, we have attention, we have time, which are spiritual currencies. And if you're going to be among the builders and shakers of this world, you need not to trade those things lightly. I have come to understand that, and that is why I am taking a bet on myself. We need to get to the point where you remove all forms of safety net and go all out on yourself, because there is so much to you. There is so much more to you than you can currently see. There is so much more to you than you can currently experience. You are currently expressing. God did not put all of this that you want to do in you for no reason. He put it because He wants you to actually do. He wants you to be able to establish His kingdom here on earth. And kingdom is not just you thinking that God is going to provide every single thing you need. He kept you there so you could establish His kingdom here on earth. And there is one thing there's a framework for this, there's a principle for this, and we can see this in the God of the Bible. We can see it in Genesis, in how that He created. So how can you become a creator? That you move from the level of being a consumer, you move to the point of being a creator. It's not enough to just keep consuming. It is now time for you to start building. And for you to start building, you need to start with yourself. You need to start with you. And that is why I'm putting out here to you. I'm opening this up just for very few people. Even if we are 5, it is too much already. Like, I'm going to put out a form, we're going to apply, and even if it's just 5 people that will go on this journey with me, we're good, we're fine. Growth Circle started as a 30-day challenge, and look at where we are today. This is not cheaper, but this is just for me to say that whenever I put my mind to something, I'm going to finish it. And the next phase of my life is the phase where I build me as a brand. So if there's anything you need to reset in this second half of the year, it is that you need to go within yourself. You need to find what it is there is to you, and you need to refine. You need to serve value to the point where your value grows so much to the point where you cannot be ignored. And with this viewpoint of mine, I hope I've been able to put it to you that you should focus on yourself. As much as you're putting energy into the work you're doing, put more into you. Invest in yourself. You're the one that will remain when every other thing moves. You're the one that will see. They are saying AI is taking over job now. It's because the AI has made the job easier. For you not see, there is one thing AI will never ever take over, and that is the name you build for yourself. That is your name. Once you're able to build your name, you're able to do any other thing that you have passion for. So I'm going to share that link now, and I'm going to hand over to Clarissa, because like I said, I'm not opening this up to so many people. I'm just opening up to at least 5 people that are willing to lock in on themselves for the next 90 days, starting from when we start till the time when we are going to end. Trust me, the me you will meet after the 90 days is the me that has evolved. It is me that has become who let's just leave it at that first. But you will meet me and you will know that, oh my God, so I knew this person at some point. So yes, thank you so much, guys. It's been an amazing, amazing, amazing time with us all tonight. And you all that stayed till the end, it shows that you have ears for deep conversations. It shows that you paid attention as a currency, and we do not take this for granted. It shows that you're willing to take your life to the next level. It shows that the goals you have set in January, you're willing now to face it. And then before I put it, that because I just mentioned goals, it reminds me of something. So instead of having too many goals, pick that one thing that when you put in the 20% of effort, it will give you 80% results. And that is me bringing in Pareto principle into this. So what is that one thing that if you focus on it now, by the end of the year, it will cover up for the many other goals you've not achieved? Then focus on that one thing. Focus on that one thing. The past few months, I had to focus on my job, and it felt as if I was stripped bare of every other thing I was doing. But that one thing, the result of it was beautiful. So this is me putting out here to you guys. There's a whole lot more to you. We are navigating this phase together because there is a whole lot we can do and we can achieve together. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate and do not take it for granted. Over to you, Clarissa. I will be sending the link to the form in the chat box. We'll get back to you via email.
Thank you so much, the global Angie. Thank you for such a gathering. Thank you for such a platform to have honest, raw, and unfiltered conversations. Because I don't know, but I feel like I'm not just speaking for myself, but I'm certain that every one of us here who listened keenly are going home with something. Even if it's just one thing, I am pretty much certain that we're going home with something. Thank you to all our amazing panelists. Thank you for dishing out wisdoms. Thank you for sharing premium experience strategies on how we can navigate the next 6 months of 2026. We really appreciate. And if you see messages in your DM after this conversation, just know that okay, it's probably from, the Reset 2026, because I am sure that there are people who are actually aching to have further conversations with you guys. Thank you so much. We sincerely appreciate. So to every one of the speakers, from our amazing founder, Ms. Angela Oluwa Anifowoshe, to Dr. Annex Yakubu, to Dr. Efezino, to Mr. Adebisi, Timilane, to Tonia, and down to Kelvin and my humble self. Thank you so much. So we have a link in the chats box for your feedback, as well as those who are interested in pushing further in the 90 days challenge with TGA. And for those who are not a part of the Growth Circle team, trust me, it's the place to be. When you need that motivation to keep pushing, especially in this era where, okay, for instance, I'm going to tell a story, a very short one, or something I heard someone say. Someone told me that being a content creator is not a job in 2026. I also that being a content creator is not a job, and I'm like, do you realize how much some creators make from this thing that you termed as not a job? Probably because it's not a white collar job, probably because you don't get up in the morning to go to the office and back, and you consider it not a job. So we're in an era where we are actively changing the narrative. It's not just the norms, it's not just, as it's used to be or what people are accustomed to. It's so much more, and so much better. So thank you for sticking to the end. We sincerely appreciate your time spent on this conversation. So from all of us, from the team, and from my humble self, the Clarissa Pepple, thank you so much, and have an amazing night and a very productive week ahead. Good night. You can unmute your mics and share a very pleasant bye.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
everyone. The
Thank you so
forms are
much. Thank you
in
so
the
much.
chat box. Kindly utilize the form before you leave.
Thank you so much. All right.